I'm opening the door to the behind the scenes of a 7-figure agency's operating system. Part of what we do here at Fluxomate is create internal tools for agencies looking to set up scale-proof systems. So for the past week, I've been putting together an operating system for a short-form content agency called Spark. We'll be going over how they use this internal tool to manage their client portals, deal with project management, store different meetings, manage sales pipelines, and even maintain a custom CRM all in one platform where everyone can log in and see the relevant information. This is a real game changer if you're tired of using 5 different software to actually run your agency, and using a custom internal tool like this will allow you to automate different parts of your work seamlessly. Now, in all honesty, Spark is a made up agency which I generated using ChatGPT over the weekend, but don't worry, this doesn't take away from the value of this operating system, and it allows me to show you the behind the scenes that are upsetting any of my clients. If you're new here, you'll soon find out we don't hold anything back, so be ready to get a full insight on a 7-figure agency's operating system from a random guy on YouTube. So like I said, guys, I'm going to be taking behind the scenes of a 7-figure agency's operating system. Now, just being 100% transparent, this is for Spark, which is a agency I made up during the weekend. I literally just asked ChatGPT for a name of a short-form content agency and even create the logo, which doesn't look that bad, to be fair. Now, I know you're a bit suspicious, probably thinking, why am I doing this? But don't worry, it's a very, very good thing. This literally allows me to give you the full behind the scenes of this complete operating system without making any of my clients upset or revealing any personal information. The good news is that this is a very, very close model of something we've done for other agencies in the past, so it's a good thing. And before we go into the live demo, I just want to break down the different user roles as the app may have. So it's split into 2 main groups, internal and external. The 2 basic groups that we have in this example are the team admin and the team member. Now, obviously, you can break this down even further depending on if you have different team members like sales guys, virtual assistants, or success managers, and kind of create their own access to different data. But very simply, a team admin has access to all the data. They can obviously access all the pages and edit it, make sure everything's all right. And team members only have access to data which is assigned to them and relevant pages to their specific task. So, for example, if you have a video editor that's working with specific clients, they'll only be able to access the data from those specific clients and only see the relevant pages according to the role. Like I said, this is a very basic format of it. If you really wanted to implement this, I'd recommend expanding it so you have different roles for all the different types of team members in your team, giving them a central dashboard. So, for example, editors, sales guys like closers, appointment setters, customer support agents, or even media buyers. You can create a bunch of different internal loops if you wanted to do this properly. But just for this basic example, these are the 2 roles we're going to go over for the internal side of things. And now for the external side of things, it's mainly going to be clients. And the cool thing about this is that clients will only have access to their own client data and their own client pages. We don't want them snooping around, being able to see all the data from our company within their portal. So setting up these different roles allows us to filter it to only show them their relevant data for their project. Now, I don't want to talk too much. I'm just going to get straight into what this actually looks like. But just to give you a heads up of what's coming, after I do this live demonstration, I'm going to show you how this actually works and the different use cases so you can get insight on how to apply this to your agency. So the first thing that we see when we log in to any of the pages is this central dashboard. And as you can see, I've got my picture here, my name, and for this specific example, this is the team portal. So it's got a quick description going to a team portal. Here, I've got quick links to some certain things. So for example, if I want to see my projects, all I have to do is press this and it'll take it to my specific projects. If I want to see my tasks, I can press this and it'll take me to my specific tasks, which in this case, I don't have any. But if we switch this over to another team member, firstly, it gives you a view that you see they have their own personal icon, their name, which just comes straight from their username. And if you click my projects, she can see her relevant projects that she's assigned to, which in this case is example company 3 and example company 1. These are projects she's directly involved in, as you can see from the team member section, which goes over the different team members assigned to each one. If we open this up, we can see a bit more information. So we can see the assigned team members, we can assign different people, different project tasks related to the project, the actual client, any resources that's shared with the project, the budget, the stage, and the start date. If you scroll down a bit more, you can see different data that's highlighted even further, any important links which this project doesn't directly have, and a overview of the task directly related to this project at a different stage that they're in. If you scroll down a bit further, you can see the completed work or the assigned team members to the specific project. And in this tab right here, you can see a tracker going over the different project stages. This is quite cool, and there's a lot more you can add here, as you'll see after when we go to the sales hub. This particularly is a task tracker. So it goes over all the tasks, if there's any delayed tasks, the most recent task completed, and amount of videos created for this short form content agency in this particular project. Now, Lydia is a team admin. So as you can see, she has different levels of access to different pages compared to if we switch over to a team member who only has access to these 4 pages right here. This is a massive thing because sometimes when you're employing someone like appointment setters or media buyers, you don't want them to have access to your CRM, all your sales pipelines, all the projects. You just want them to have access to their specific work that they're focusing on to firstly increase security within your agency, but also prevent them from getting distracted by looking at the wrong thing and doing the wrong work. And the cool thing is you can assign things directly to people. So as an admin, if I go to all projects, which is the overview of all the different projects, and we open any one of these up, I can assign different people like Amy Jones to this project. And now if we switch over to Amy Jones' account, we go to her project database, we can see she's assigned a particular project that the admin just assigned her to. And now she can see all the relevant information. Now, before I go into what team members see and their specific roles, I'm going to go over the team admin as that's probably where the most information is. After I do team admin, I'm going to go over team member quickly and then focus on the client portal side of things and how you can actually use this to give your clients an interactive solution they can log in and see all the work you're doing. So these first 4 pages are just an indication of the specific projects that are assigned to the member, such as specific tasks and their specific meetings. I'm going to break all of these down when it comes to the team member side of things because they have the exact same thing. But what the team members don't have is access to all of these resources right here. So the first thing is a CRM. Now, this is quite a simple one. It's only tracking 3 different stages. So we have prospect, which is basically any lead that comes in before we close the sale. Active leads, which is basically active clients that we have right now. And active clients, which are either people that have dropped out or that we've ended a partnership with. And if you open any one of these cards up, you can retrieve some quick information about it. So the different lead source, if they have one, the value of the actual call, and their assigned project, which is where the magic actually is. So for example, company 1, we can see they have this assigned project. And if we open this up, we can get all the information about the project, have a clear overview of what's actually going on. And once again, if you go to tracker, you have a clear indication of all the different tasks going on. So for example, here, we can see they have 3 tasks which are delayed, which is not good. So I'd contact one of the team members to get an update on what's going on and make sure everything's being streamlined. Same goes with prospects. Now, prospects won't have an assigned project, so they don't have as much information to see. But if you want to, you can see the specific sales stage. But realistically, if you're looking at prospects, you're going to go over to the Sales Hub, which has a lot more information, and I'll get into that straight after I go over the map overview of the CRM. This is a cool feature that I like just to give you an indication of where everyone is that you're working from. And there's different filters you can set up here. So whether it's prospects or even your active clients, seeing where they're situated it all around the world. This is also an example of how you can use filters throughout this entire operating system to filter certain information depending on what you're looking for, which is a very, very cool feature, especially when it comes to admin view of things because they have a lot of data to actually deal with. So the next thing I want to go over is the Sales Hub, and there's a couple of cool features here that I want to show you guys. So firstly, we split the sales stages into 5 stages: new lead, demo call booked, follow-up stage, closed, and lost, which are hidden. But if you can see here, we can automatically update any of these to either closed or lost by pressing this button, again confirmation, and that specific lead will automatically be updated to the closed stage. This is also something that you can automate in the future. So as soon as you press that button, it triggers a set of automations that create contracts and Stripe payment links, create projects, and messages the client a confirmation email. But I'm not going to get into that today as this is just focused on this operating system. That's an example of a different button you can use. Another button myself here, which is quite cool, is follow up. So a lot of times when it comes to having sales calls or even just leads in general, you're going to want to follow up with them at a certain date. Realistically, over time, you're going to forget to follow up with people. So you want some sort of system to remind you to do it. So here, if there's any leads, that are not in the follow-up stage, you can see you have this option of a button within the card. And if you press this, it gives us the option to select a follow-up date, and it will automatically update the sales stage to follow-up stage. As you can see here, automatically updating the lead card to the follow-up stage. And just a quick sidetrack, if you go to follow-up central, you can now see the date has automatically been added. So every morning you can just open this calendar up and you'll be able to see all the follow-ups you have to do with different companies. That's a quick overview of the hub. Obviously, if you open any one of these, you can get some more information out of it, specifically the lead source, the value, the different sales stage, any meeting notes, which are properties that come straight from any linked meetings, as you can see here, and also the different qualifications for the meeting. So whether a no-show, if they're qualified, and if you actually close them. As you go to the second page in the sales breakdown, this is basically an overview of your pipeline. You can see the total value, the total number of sales calls you've had, but also upcoming calls. And if you open these up, we can see all the relevant information, such as meeting, links, the date, the duration of the call, and any action items, which I'm going to show you in a second. Another thing we have here is a quick breakdown of where everyone is in your sales stage, so you have a clear indication of what's going on, which once again is broken down into 4 stages. And also, you get a quick diagram breakdown of the main lead sources that your leads are coming from. So for this example, let's how to get most people in from ads. And the last thing I kind of linked here is a link to all the sales specific resources. Now, if we open this up, you can see we have different SOPs when it comes to sales. We can see when it was last updated and even access the file, which in this case is an objection handling script. This is super useful. It just allows you to have all your resources in one place, which makes your life a lot easier. And once again, you can set up different filters here for different dates, but it's not necessary in this example because there's only 2 calls. The next thing I want to go over is the sales calls. Now, this is basically an indication of all the sales calls you have, and you can automatically kind of qualify them. So if someone no shows, you can mark it here. If someone's qualified, you can check this box. Now, this doesn't seem like much, but it's very, very useful because all this data we can use in the future to create automatic reports on how your sales guys are doing. And each month you can get automatic reports to understand your no-show percentage, for example, your qualified rate, or even your close rate, which is quite important to track if you're on already. And once again, if you open any of these up, you can see the individual information about that meeting. So the meeting link, the duration, the sales call, the relevant project, any relevant action items, which I'm going to show you what that actually looks like when we get to the meetings later. And the last part of the sales stage, which I can show you quickly, is the follow-up section, which I went over briefly earlier. But once again, this is just an overview of all the different follow-ups you have to do, and you can change those different views to months, weeks, even days if you needed. And it's a cool tool to just have a clear overview of all the different follow-ups you need to do. Now, obviously, if you're more focused on sales and you had a couple of sales guys, there's a lot more you can do here, such as splitting the sales up depending on each one. But the important thing to notice here is that everything is linked. The meetings, the projects, the leads, the team members, everything is linked together. So any updates that you hear will automatically apply. And ideally, if you were to set this up yourself, you would also have your calendar automatically linked to this. So whenever someone books a call, it automatically updates them to the demo book stage. Whenever someone signs up for a lead magnet, for example, it automatically updates them to the new lead stage. You get the idea of how this works, and there's a lot of room here for potential of different things you can do. The next thing an admin has a view of is all the different projects. Now, in this example, this company only has 3 projects to look at, but if she opens this up, she can see all the information, such as relevant team members, any completed work from the project, budget, the start date, the assigned tasks, the client itself, and the budget. Very similar to what we saw earlier. The next thing I want to show you is tasks. Now, this is also broken down into 3 main sections, but we have a main overview here of everything that's going on. Here is another example of different filters you can set up. So this is broken into 4 key stages: backlog, in progress, ready to view, and complete. But if you want, you can filter this depending on different team members. For example, if I wanted to see specifically what Elizabeth was doing, I would choose this and see that she has 1 task that is ready for review. You can open up and automatically review it and mark it as complete, automatically updating it there. Another filter I can do instead of team member is filtering it by specific project. This is also quite a cool thing, because it allows me to see a clear indication of all the different tasks for a specific project without having to jump in on the project page. And lastly, I can also filter it by different task types, so scripting, filming, editing. If I choose this, I can see all the scripting tasks and how they're getting along. This is once again just an example of different filters you can set up, but it gives you an idea of the possibilities of using something like this. Next, I want to dive into the different sections. Now, we split into 3 different sections: internal task, client task, and delayed task. Internal tasks are tasks which are relevant to your specific company. For example, if you're working on a VSL or you're looking to hire new people, you add them into the internal section. Client task, or basically anything that's related to client work. And there's a couple cool indications here of summarized information. We have due dates, obviously, the relevant project meeting, task type, assigned team member. But then we also have this little tick right here, which is a client task. Client task basically means it's something that the client has to do. And once we go into the client portal side of things, it'll make sense how that all links in. But if you open any one of these task pages, we can have a clear indication that everything is going on. For this example, we are short form content agency. So we have the script here, the specific person is assigned to, and the actual project. And another cool thing about any one of the tasks, we can also open up comments, and we can automatically track comments or make notes to communicate with the client or the team about what's actually going on. And the last section we have here is delayed tasks. Once again, this is the admin overview, so they can have a clear indication of all the different delayed tasks going on. So for example, I can see this task is delayed by 2 days. So what I would do if I was an admin, I would contact Levi Davidson to get an update on what's going on and make sure everything is running smoothly. Like I said a couple of minutes ago, guys, a cool thing about this is that it's all linked. So any updates I do here will automatically be updated in my team members' tasks and also the client portal tasks. So everything is automatically linked, avoiding you having to add data manually anywhere. A couple more things to get through from the admin side of things. So firstly, we have an overview of all the different meetings that's going on within the agency. And once again, we have different filters that they can filter it by, such as different team members, the different project, or even a meeting type. If you open any one of these meetings, you can get some quick information, but to get more detail, we can open them up and we can see date, the participants of the actual meeting, the link to the actual project if it exists, and also the action items, which are basically tasks that come from that meeting. This is just a broken view of any upcoming meetings and past meetings that have occurred, where once again we can filter it through depending on different things. But if you open any one of these up, you'll see the exact same thing. The participants of that meeting, the link to the project, and any action items, which in this case do not exist. And if I wanted to edit any of this information, all I have to do is press a little edit button right here, and I can easily add a new database, add a new project, update the actual stage, or even add an action item. And like I said earlier, you can also record different comments on that meeting, keeping everything streamlined and all in one place. The key thing here is that once you set this up, you'd want to integrate some sort of automation, which is what we do for all of our clients, so that this is automatically linked to something like Calendly. So every single time someone books a meeting or a recording comes in through Zoom, it automatically updates and allows you to have everything in one place. Now, the next thing we have is the employee database, which is quite important for team admins. They have a clear overview of everyone that's working under them. If you open any of these up, you can see what each person's getting up to. So you can see the position, the department, when they first started, their specific stage, all the assigned tasks that they have, and all the assigned meetings. You can also filter by meeting type. And then we have another quick overview of all the assigned projects they have, whether they do more internal work or external work, and if they have any delayed tasks or anything like that. I'll show you another example of what this looks like for another employee, just to give you an idea. You can see Lydia Davidson assigned to different projects. She's a software engineer. She has 3 different tasks right now, and she doesn't have any meetings at the moment. So if you go to her overview, you can get a clear indication of everything that's going on. So she has 2 projects. She has 1 upcoming meeting coming up. She has 3 tasks and 2 of the tasks are delayed. And as you can see, she mainly focuses on external work. This is quite a cool tool to have, and it gives you a lot of indication of different things you can do within this platform to have a clear overview of all your different team members, either using different charts or just individually checking their pages. The next thing we have is resources. Now, this is similar to what I said before with the sales stuff. It's just different SOPs basically, and if you open any of these up, you can have an indication of what type of SOP it is, the availability, when it was last updated, a checklist, and any important links, or even a recording of how to actually do it. And it's split into different sections. And obviously we have internal resources, which are basically resources that for your company, and external resources, which is going to be something that you share with your clients when they first get onboarded, for example. And lastly, we have this data cleaner. Now, this is very important when you're dealing with databases like this. You want to have everything cleaned up. Now, these are basically set, so if a certain property is not aligned, it will show up. So as you can see at the moment, all projects are cleaned up, which basically means each project has an assigned team member, has an assigned client, and an assigned start date. If you go to the project and we just delete the client it's assigned to, now it doesn't have any assigned client. So if you go with the data cleaner, it will see that specific project and obviously assign a client, which in this case was example company 3. And now automatically data clear because that data is now organized and all cleaned up, just like that. Same thing applies for tasks. If a task doesn't have an assigned team member, a due date, or a task type, it will come up here. And the same thing for meetings. If it doesn't have a meeting date, a meeting type, and the participants, it will end up here. Now, this is mainly for manual data because all automatic data will obviously have all of these things all done. However, if you're adding any manual data using any of these buttons right here, this is very important just to make sure all your data is cleaned up and assigned to its relevant section. So I can just assign this meeting a date by opening this up, editing, and applying it a date. Now, I've gone over most of the team admin roles. So the next thing I want to go over is the team member roles, specifically these 4 pages right here. So now I'm going to switch it to a team member, and you can see we're limited to just these 4 pages. So the first thing we get to see is my projects, which are basically the projects that are assigned to that team member, as I spoke about earlier. This is very important for project management as it avoids a team member having access to all the projects in your agency, which prevents them from being confused by anything. If you open this up, she has an indication of the different project tasks, the completed work and assigned team members, as well as all the project information. But the cool thing comes down to my tasks. Now, once again, this is split into 3 different sections: internal tasks, external tasks, and delayed tasks. It's just an overview of all the different tasks. As you can see, Elizabeth seems to only have this one right now. But if you open this up, she can edit everything. And once again, guys, this will automatically edit it into the admin view or even the client portals. So as an admin, you can check on this task and you can automatically see everything that's going on. Now here we also have another example of one of the buttons I showed you earlier. Let's say Elizabeth finishes the task and wants to mark as complete. All she'd have to do is press this button and she can mark it as complete, automatically updating it to the complete stage, just like that. Once again, guys, this is one of the examples of different buttons you can set up within this tool, depending on the specific use case. And the last thing we have is delayed task, which basically shows any delayed work So as you can see, this project is delayed. It was due over a month ago. But if you update this task to complete now, it automatically removes it. The next section I want to go over is the My Meetings section. Once again, this filters it down specifically to Elizabeth's meetings so you can have a clear indication of the meetings she's been assigned. And as you can see, she's had 2 meetings in February and she had 1 in March. But if you open this up, we can see all the information. So this is an example of what I mentioned earlier, which is the action items from the meetings, which are basically just a task which is assigned to that specific meeting. So let's say after a meeting, you want to do specific task according to it, it will come up here because it's linked to the meeting you just had. And if you wanted more information about the task, all you have to do is open this up and she can see all the information, even if it's not directly assigned to her, because she was a part of that meeting. And then once again, you can see different colors mean different meetings. So for example, this was a sales call, this was a review call, and if she can filter it depending on what she wants to see. So if she only wants to see the sales call she's had, she can open this up, set the filter to sales call, and now she only sees sales calls. Once again, you can also change the view if you want to change it to week. And another cool things we have upcoming meetings and past meetings. So she doesn't have any upcoming meetings, but if you go with the past, you can have a clear indications of all the meetings she's had, automatically assigned to a specific type of meeting, and you can have a clear view of all the information such as the length, the type of meeting it was, if the client was attending, and any internal attendees that assigned that meeting. And the last thing we have are resources, which is similar to the resource page earlier. Just all the resources from your company. So if they ever need anything like this, such as objection handling or SEO best practice, for example, they can just open any of these up and get the relevant information from it. All right, guys, I'm aware I kind of sped through both of those, but I hope that gives you an indication of the internal side of things and how you can use this. Like I said, guys, this is just an example. And towards the end of the video, I'll go over different ways you can use this in different industries like marketing agencies, recruitment agencies, even sales agencies. This is a blank solution. So what I just showed you, it's just our version of it. So there's a lot more you can actually build out and apply to your specific circumstances to make this a truly internal tool tailored for your agency. Before I move on to show you how this is actually set up, I do want to go over how you can use this for client portals. Now, I know there's a stigma around client portals, and I am aware it doesn't apply to every single niche. If it's something that could work in your niche, I would 100% recommend setting it up because it can be a really, really powerful tool. I actually have a whole video going over client portals and the importance of them. So if you haven't already, make sure to check that out. Because I just recorded that video about a week ago, I won't go into too much detail now. But if you open this up, Smith Carroll, she's a client. She has a quick portal here where you can see a bunch of different things. She can immediately book a meeting. She can view all her tasks. She can report an error. She can even ask a question on the Slack channel. And if you go to My Projects, you can see Smith Carroll only sees her assigned project. With her assigned tasks, her completed work, and the assigned team members that are assigned to her specific project. And if you go to Tracker, you can see she sees some information such as the tasks, any delayed tasks, the recent work, videos created, and just a task tracker. Now, this is just an example of a graph you can show. There's a bunch of different things you can track automatically. Now, this is very, very cool because your client is never left in a worry, kind of thinking what's happening, what's going on next. You can automatically check all the completed work, what's been happening behind the scenes, and obviously all the comments that you and your team are making, which is optional, by the way. You can hide this if necessary. Now, the next thing I want to show you is the tasks for the clients. Now, remember when I said the little tick I mentioned earlier? This is why I implemented it. So firstly, she has an overview of all the different tasks assigned to her projects, but she also has tasks that are relevant to her. So like I said earlier, we have a tick for client tasks, which basically means the task that the client has to do. So let's say she has a new task that she has to complete. It will automatically be added to her database. She can log in, edit all the relevant information, and then mark it as complete or ready for review for one of your team members to have a look and make sure everything's done properly. Once again, this will automatically update within your task database or the admin task database as everything is linked together. Next is what we do in section, which is basically the same thing as the overview task, but it just shows her tasks which she does not have to do. And we have another example of the buttons where we showed earlier. So if it's in the ready to review stage, they'll have the approved task, which will automatically mark it as complete. However, let's say the task is in a process stage and she wants to update, she can press this button and it'll automatically make a request to the team to get in contact with Smith Carroll as she wants to update on this specific task. Once again, the whole aim is just to give them a clear overview of everything that's going on and make them feel like they're in complete control and removing any uncertainty within your service delivery, which, as you can imagine, will skyrocket your churn rates. Next is completed work, which is the indication of what the completed work you've done. Similar to the other task database, they can see everything that's going on, all the comments, when it was due or when it was completed. Now, next we have My Meetings, which is once again similar to previously. She can see all her relevant meetings. Now, she doesn't have to see all of the project meetings. These are specifically meetings that she has been invited to, and she can open them up and see the relevant tasks, the participants, or even the link to her project. And this is split into upcoming and past. And then lastly, we have different resources, which is all the resources that are external, like I mentioned earlier. which are basically resources that you want to share with your clients. And lastly, if she presses this button right here, it takes her to a Slack channel automatically, which is quite cool. Like I said, guys, apologies for rushing over the client portal side of things. I did make a whole video on it last week. So if you want a much more detail, check out the top right hand corner right here and you'll be able to see all that relevant information. All right, so I've gone over the live breakdown of how this actually works and the different user roles. Let's go over how this works on the back end. So all it is, right, it's a database. It's just a set of different databases like projects, task database, client database, meeting database, and a resource database with all the data stored. Now, for this, you can use a bunch of different things. You can use Airtable, Smart Suite, Google Sheets even. It doesn't really matter. But you just want a central place where you're tracking a bunch of different things. And each one of these databases is linked to each other's. So, for example, we can see projects is automatically linked to the task database because each project has assigned tasks. Each project also has an assigned client, and each project also has assigned different meetings. I'm not going to go over how each one of these databases interlinks with each other, but you can get the idea. Basically, one database for each one of the main things that I've got here, breaking down all the relevant information. And if you use something like this, you can automatically filter it, make it so that only certain people can see specific data, which is very, very important. This is one of the big drawbacks of Notion, which is actually the main reason we moved away from it. You could create all these different databases, all these cool designs, but when it came to actually sharing stuff, you had to share all your database with anyone that wanted to interact with them, which obviously was a big no-no, especially when you're at scale, when you have about 50 different clients, 20 different team members doing different things. For security reasons, this is obviously bad, but also to avoid anyone getting confused and seeing the wrong thing, which isn't really ideal. Now, there's a bunch of different use cases on how you actually use this. What I just showed you was for a short form content agency, but let's say your Facebook marketing agency, you can set something similar to this, and instead of tracking tasks and different scripts, you can track specific campaigns, ad performance, automatically integrate some sort of ads reporting within the tool. For recruitment agencies, you can automatically track different prospects as they move through your pipeline and associate them to relevant clients so they can review the application and have a look. Sales agencies obviously is a massive thing. You can automatically assign different sales calls to people, or you can also automatically allow your closers to select sales calls depending on their availability. Guys, I don't know, I'm not really sure how to emphasize this without going into specific examples and building out 5 different examples of what I just showed you. But this is really a clean state. Everything I've showed you earlier was completely custom made. The buttons, the filters, the views, the graphs, the charts, the layouts, the pages, everything was completely custom made. So if there's a specific thing that you need for your agency, it is possible to make it as long as you got that database on the back end that you can take the information, display it properly to the right person. Like I said to you guys throughout this video, the main thing is once you build something like this out, you need to integrate automations within it to make sure that firstly, it's updated automatically and all the information is up to date. But secondly, you want to automate your different workflows, and having those type of buttons in a task database on a sales database, for example, that you can automatically press the button, mark it as closed, and then a bunch of different actions come is a real game changer. And it's something that all of our clients love because it makes it so clear to anyone using it or what the next steps are or what they're specifically triggering if they press a button. Now, guys, I know it's been a bit of a longer video. I just want to show you a real example of a 7-figure agency's onboarding process. So this is the only video I've seen going over anything like this on YouTube. So if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos exactly like this, dropping content every single week. Now, if you want more information on how to use something like this within your agency, you can fill out the short form using the first link in the description. This will do one of 3 things. It will give you access to this 20+ page document going over how you can use stuff like this within your agency to set up a skill-proof agency. It will take your existing processes and optimize them, giving you a step-by-step plan on how you can improve them. And it will give you 5 different automation examples that you can use within your agency, along with step-by-step guides on how to set them up so you can save 100 hours every single month in agency completely free. This is on Lead Magnet. We spent over 40 hours putting it together. So if you haven't already, make sure to fill out the first link in the description. It takes about 5 minutes and you get free access to this 20+ page document showing you exactly how you can optimize your agency to make it scale proof. Lastly, guys, if you want to learn a bit more about what we do and how we can help you set up a system like this within your agency to save 100 hours every single month with a scalable system that allows you to take on more clients without ruining your service delivery or profit margins, check out the 3rd link in the description to get access to this quick 10-minute video going over exactly what we do. We put this together because we're getting a lot of DMs on Instagram asking us what we do, how we can help certain agencies. So we put this together for you guys. Now, I will give you just a warning. This is not for everyone. So if you're not at that point yet where you need to have something like this, which is usually around that 30K mark, then I wouldn't recommend signing up because it won't be the best value for you. So if you're not ready for that, please make sure to continue consuming all of our content we're releasing on YouTube, the lead magnet, because it's extremely valuable and there's no one else in this space giving away this much value for free. I'm sure this video has been valuable, guys, so if you haven't already, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about any of this, please drop a comment. I say this in every video, but we're still a very small channel, so this is the best chance to ask any questions, because you'll get a full response in the comments completely for free by an expert who literally does this for a living. So any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm more than happy to help you guys out. And apart from that, that's it from me. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.